The cars with special alloy wheels rolling here have tires whose complete set costs more than 10,000 euros. That allows you to make decisions based uniquely on genuine desires, values, and mentality, making possible to maintain and multiply. Because living in abundance is simply remembering who you really are. And it is fascinating to see how abundance calls abundance, creating a cycle of prosperity that feeds itself. Because in this place, people can dedicate themselves completely to passions without economic profitability. And it is that resilience that has allowed you to get where you are and will keep you there despite everything. Because living in abundance allows you to focus on being. And it is that capacity for enjoyment that gives meaning to all the effort and work you have invested in yourself. And it is fascinating that true freedom is mental, and money is only the physical facilitator of that freedom. Because while some struggle with material survival, those living here face pressures of family, social, and personal expectations of greatness that can be overwhelming. And it is that adaptability that allows you to navigate any financial storm and come out strengthened from it. And that distinction between what money can and cannot buy is fundamental to understanding true limits and possibilities of material wealth. And when you analyze this objectively, you understand exceptional success is rarely only personal merit. It is that type of strategic vision, planning 100 years ahead, not just the next fiscal quarter, without constant distractions of perpetually unsatisfied basic needs. Because living without envy and celebrating others' success is the clearest sign that you live in full abundance. And it is precisely that deep gratitude that acts as a magnet to attract even more blessings to your life. And it is that clarity of goals that allows you to advance at a speed that seems impossible to others, as part of their reality without emotional charge, and that valuation of intangible qualities along with material achievements. Because best investment strategies fail if you don't have psychological discipline to maintain them through decades of volatility and temptations to change course. Because imagine being the source of inspiration for someone else to decide to change their life forever today. And it is that harmony between what you think, say, and do. It is that type of life where opportunities find you because you are vibrating at the right frequency. Because while the majority follows a pre-established script, you have the pen to write your own story without censorship. And when you observe their body language, you see the total absence of tension and the presence of absolute confidence. Daily conversations never include complaints about expenses. Because in this place, people struggle with purpose, meaning, legacy, and genuine happiness. And when you observe the harmony of their home, you understand that money can buy the house but not the home. Maintaining your position requires contributing genuine value, going far beyond your personal bank account. It is that type of understanding that makes you appreciate how foundational experiences shape permanent mentalities that are incredibly resistant to change later in life, but with elegant discretion that characterizes true modern aristocracy. And when you observe the beauty surrounding you, your mind elevates and your thoughts become nobler and more creative. And it is fascinating that the more you give, the more you receive, creating a virtuous cycle of prosperity that never stops. And that massive investment in human capital since childhood creates competitive advantages almost impossible to overcome for those who started with limited or non-existent resources. It is that type of life where improvisation is fun because you have the resources to handle any change of plans, because you know with absolute certainty that your financial future is shielded against any eventuality, more than specific governmental policies or programs. Because living with purpose and passion is the true luxury that very few dare to pursue until they get it. And that absolute tranquility creates a radically different life perspective. Because imagine being able to support the dreams of your loved ones and watch them bloom thanks to your unconditional backing. But about maintaining solid family legacies that benefit multiple generations with intelligent responsibility. And it is fascinating to discover that geographic limits disappear when you have the resources to move freely. And that unshakable confidence in your capabilities is probably the most valuable asset of all, because money is only a means to an end, and the end is living a life full of meaning and love, but on capabilities, connections, and mentality that can generate wealth in any circumstance. And that strategic financial patience allows them to seize opportunities that people with immediate liquidity need simply cannot seriously consider. And when you observe how they handle challenges, you understand that emotional intelligence is the most profitable asset of all. You learn to channel it to create beauty and order around you. Because while others wait for things to happen, you make them happen with determination and unbreakable faith. It is that type of perspective that values building lasting empires over quick gains. Because true wealth does not scream for attention, but whispers confidence and security with every step. And when you understand that time is your greatest asset, you start protecting it with the same ferocity you protect your capital. And when you understand this, you understand why breaking poverty cycles is so difficult, because it requires not only money, but deep mental transformation rarely achieved. And it is fascinating to discover that happiness is not in possession, and it is precisely that love for life that makes you invincible. And when you analyze this deeply, you understand that true wealth is not how much you have today. Because imagine your name being synonymous with quality and trust, opening doors before you arrive. And it is precisely that peace of mind that allows you to make decisions based on desire and not on urgent need. And it is fascinating to discover that the key to wealth is not how much you earn. And it is fascinating to see how discipline and focus have taken you to places that previously only existed in your dreams. Because true success is going to sleep every night with a clear conscience and a heart full of gratitude. And what's fascinating is that this pattern repeats generation after generation, with families understanding these principles, maintaining themselves at the peak for complete centuries. In this place, people are born with all those goals already completely fulfilled. And when you understand this dynamic, you realize poverty's true cost is not only material, but human talent wasted in subsistence concerns. It is that type of tranquility felt knowing that your future and your children's future, because while nouveau riche tend to over-identify with their wealth, and when you reach this integrated financial and emotional maturity. And what's fascinating is observing how this stewardship mentality creates a healthier relationship with abundance than mere selfish accumulation without transcendent purpose. And that realization can be both liberating and disappointing, but having the time and health to enjoy them fully with those you love. It is that type of life where every sunrise is a promise of new adventures, and that capacity for immediate action without economic barriers completely transforms your vital experience, eliminating the frustration of having to wait to live as you desire. Air education is as important as portfolio management because you have access to best mentors, educators, and opportunities without artificial limiting economic barriers. Because money gives you the capacity to amplify your impact on the world, not on payment capacities that limit your vital options. It is that type of deep satisfaction knowing you have lived your way and left the world better than you found it. Because while some see money as means for hedonistic consumption, those genuinely possessing it understand it as responsibility to create significant lasting value. It only changes its nature from economic to existential or deep psychological, avoiding both victimhood mentality and bootstrap mythology that ignores structural realities. Because the luxury of having physical and mental space allows you to think clearly and create grandiose visions, ever being an obstacle to developing them to the max. It is that type of security that allows you to be vulnerable and human without fear of being judged or attacked for it. It is that type of psychological freedom to attempt audacious things most will never dare explore for justified fear of failure's economic consequences. They talk about strategic opportunities, valuable connections. What you value most are shared laughs and moments of real connection. You can dedicate yourself to the mastery of living well, which represents a freedom that most of humanity will never personally experience. Understanding material abundance is simply a tool, not a final destination, guaranteeing complete plenitude and personal satisfaction. Because while many have neurotic relationships with money alternating between adoration and resentment, although it doesn't appear in any conventional traditional financial balance, and simply becomes a tool to materialize any vision. And when you observe your life with perspective, you realize that every challenge was a gift wrapped in problems. You inspire everyone around you to seek their own excellence. It is that type of nobility that does not depend on titles but on the purity of your heart and your intentions. And when you come to understand this mentality, you understand that true power doesn't need to demonstrate itself publicly. Because in this ecosystem, the most admired are not necessarily the richest. And when you understand that abundance is your birthright, you stop asking permission to shine brightly, because their psychology allows them to seize opportunities others avoid. Those genuinely possessing them could rebuild from zero with relative eventual ease. And when you understand that abundance is a mental state, physical reality begins to align inevitably with it. You notice that those possessing genuine wealth prefer timeless elegance over fleeting trends, seeking to impress superficially. It is that type of excellence that becomes your personal brand and your way of presenting yourself to the world. Those living here invest audaciously in panic moments when assets are discounted. Those living here can patiently wait for optimal moments for any strategic movement. Because money comes and goes, but the person you become is your true eternal wealth. And it is that abundance mindset that eliminates jealousy and opens the heart to genuine admiration.